Hello, and welcome back to the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planets. You are watching Daily Dive. It is Wednesday, March the 19th, 2025. I am your host, Michael Carvelis in Guyton, Georgia. We are live on 12 on Sports via YouTube, Roku, and Fire TV. Reminder to subscribe to the 12 on Sports YouTube channel for other great shows and live sports. On today's awesome show, I'm going to get into a segment called Las Vegas. Folks, the Las Vegas Desert Dogs are not very good this year. They are so bad, I've got a few stats for you. Who is to blame, what needs to change, etc. Hot seats. I haven't visited this topic since before the season started, so I'm going to talk about which coaches, in my opinion, need to finish the season strong. And of course, a Wednesday tradition here, my NLL Power Rankings. We want to first let you know this show is presented by tickets.12onsports.com. That's tickets.numbers12lettersozsports.com. Get your National Lacrosse League tickets for less by going to that website. The website includes every sport, not just the NLL, and all your favorite music artist concerts, not to mention Broadway and theater. Tickets.12onsports.com. Let's get into this now, folks. Let's be honest. The Las Vegas Desert Dogs are once again not very good. Desert Dogs this season, they are 3-11 with wins, actually surprisingly, against the Albany Firewolves, San Diego Seals, and the Colorado Mammoth. Now, I think it's funny, and we've mentioned this on the show a couple of times, that every year the San Diego Seals seem to lose a game to the Dogs, and then as we saw this past week in 20-11, Seals win. It's like, well, where'd the first game come from? You decide, Mr. Joe Tsai. But this season, the Las Vegas Desert Dogs have by far the worst goal differential at -59. The next closest is the Ottawa Black Bears at -19. So this team is 40 goals in the red to every other team in the National Lacrosse League. It's only a 14-team league. This season as well, the Dogs average 10.4 goals a game, but they're the only team to give up over 13 goals a game at 14.6. But before we get started, I do want to say this regarding the Desert Dogs. There is some bill trying to be passed in the let me get to this tweet just to make sure I have this correct. Basically, the Desert Dogs, they are trying, I don't even know why I don't have it right with me, but basically, they're trying to get some bill passed of sorts where the lacrosse is recognized as an official sport in the state of Nevada. Here it is. Okay. The Las Vegas Desert Dogs, in partnership with USA Lacrosse and State Senator Fabian Donate, has introduced Senate Bill 305, a game-changing initiative to officially sanction lacrosse as a sport in Nevada. You can also email senedu@sen.state. You get it. So basically, people in the comments that were explaining this to me, were explaining to others, it's like now they can get funding, you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money to have lacrosse in schools, etc., which is a good thing. And as you can tell, I'm no lawmaker or law passer for that matter, but good for them for growing the sport, because it has looked like the Desert Dogs have grown the sport in the area. Obviously, Panther City was far from that. Now, basically, having Joe Tsai as your owner probably helps that. Having Steve Nash, a Canadian, in your ownership group helps that. Having Sean Williams helps that. But at the same time, the play on the field is a lot of times going to sell the fans. And this season, like I said, they're 3-11. They're 1-6 at home. That to me is one of those baffling stats of this whole Desert Dogs era. Because in their 3 seasons so far, in total of 50 games they've played now, they're 7-18 at home. If they win 2 more games this season, they'll finally reach the 5-win threshold, but that's just not good enough. So now you start looking at coaching and players. They've got Jack Hanna, who's leading the team with 70 points this season. They've got Jonathan Donville, who, 2nd overall pick in the expansion draft. Not a fan of that one, not because of Jonathan Donville himself, because this team needed defenders and goalies, and they have neither of those. I believe they also got one of James Barclay. But my thing is with this Desert Dogs team is, can I point on the coaching or the players? Adam Potter's a really good rookie. Nick Preston's a good rookie. Jackson Webster's a good rookie. Jack Hanna's a talented player. Jonathan Donville, talented player. Casey Jackson, Connor Kirst, they recently acquired Holden Gattoni. Probably the best thing that Sean Williams has done. Shane Simpson, not bad this season so far with the Dogs. But I just feel like offensive coach Ken Millen, the Dogs' offense has not been great. And the most striking thing about the Dogs' offense this season, while Jack Hanna is taking the most shots, why are Jonathan Donville and Casey Jackson taking almost the same amount of shots as Jack Hanna? That shouldn't happen. Maybe Jack Hanna's being a little bit too passive. I don't know. This offense has been putrid. But defensive coach Phil Witherup, I'm butchering that name. No, not a personal shot to the guy. But here's a stat you might want to hear, which is why I ultimately came to this topic today. The Las Vegas Desert Dogs, this is an insane stat. They have played 14 games this season. They have allowed 15 or more goals 8 times. 8 times. Literally, in more than half of their games, they've allowed a crushing 15-plus goals. That is simply unacceptable. You can pin that on Landon Kells and Justin Getty. I don't think it's all on them, though. At what point is the coaching staff held accountable? If it helps you any, when they allow less than 15 goals, they're actually 3-3, which means they're a serviceable lacrosse club. But allowing 15-plus goals over and over, and of course the last game against the Seals, actually last 2 games, they allowed 21 against Rochester, 20 against the Seals. That can't happen. I don't know if it's the defensive coach. I don't know if it's the offensive coach. I don't know if Sean Williams is he's been there for all 3 years. They haven't gotten any better. They've never gotten better. There has been no sign of improvement besides Jack Hanna having a better year in year 3, thank God. But there's so many fingers you could point, and yet the defense, probably the worst one. But again, so much has to change. And another thing I've always said on this show that I'll cap this off with, what is their identity? Panther City, rest in peace, was a defensive, well-coached team. That was who they were. Buffalo Bills, well-coached team, but super well-rounded roster, selfless team. Rochester, shoot at will. Vancouver, tough Kurt Malosky team. What do the Dogs do that's different? Are they a defensive team? We don't know. In fact, one of the games I was watching, I believe it was the one against Rochester, Jake Elliott had said that Sean Williams wanted to slow the game up, and how'd that go? They allowed a season-high 21 goals. You have offensive pieces to shoot at will. You don't. You have defenders and defensive mindset in an arena, in a city that can help you play hard defense and get people to be lacking. You don't do that. What is your identity? There is none. Part of me wants this team to be a defensive-minded team because of the black and white colors, because of Las Vegas, because of the Den. because you can get teams napping when they go to that city. But so much to blame here, and yet I don't know who to put the biggest blame on. But again, 15 plus goals in 8 of their 14 games is absolutely a crushing, unacceptable stat that no lacrosse team should ever have on their resume. Forget the fact that it's the National Lacrosse League. This is unacceptable. So if found, please contact the NLL immediately and let them know this team is for real now. When we come back to this awesome show, has Sean Williams landed on the hot seat? Well, we'll talk about it, along with the other coaches I think need to finish this season really strong to make me believe they can make it forward into the future. You're watching Daily Dive. Don't go anywhere. I know you won't.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Daily Dive. Reminder to go to Spotify and search Daily Dive for an audio-only podcast version of this show. Thank you so much for your support. Alrighty, it's now time to get into Hot Seat. And you're like, Michael, I thought the Micah Kersey and Cuomo have done a great job. Well, you know what? You were correct. That's why this graphic was from Hype Up Month before this NLL season started, when we talked about this back in November. So, with that being said, like I said before, Micah Kersey, Ed Cuomo, Dan Ledesor were on the hot seat. Do any of these three coaches remain? Well, good news for Micah Kersey and Ed Cuomo, they do not. Why? Because the Georgia Swarm are 7-6 and have had some very quality wins. And of course, the Thunderbirds are 8-5 and currently on a 6 out of 7 game streak right now, or run, if you will. So who's on the hot seats? Dan Ledesor, you remain there. I have a very interesting stat for you. The Ottawa Black Bears this season, with, again, Jeff Teat and the emergence of Jacob Dunbar, are the only team in the National Lacrosse League to average under 10 goals per game. They're at 9.5. That's not good. That's worse than Vegas, worse than Albany, worse than Vancouver, it's the worst. Like, that's not a team stat you want to be leading in. Again, 9.5 goals a game is simply not going to cut it. Zach Higgins was phenomenal for the first 12 weeks of this NLL season. And once again, I told there was a few people out there who don't want to admit it, but they were out there. You guys were acting like, oh, the Black Bears are going to be good. Why? This is the same team that was in Long Island, and it was horrible. They have Jeff Teat, sure, but even in the game when he had no turnovers like the last one, they still get their doors kicked in. Dan Lattisaur, I believe my first coach I ever interviewed, one of the few I actually have interviewed on the show. Sorry. Hot seat. Have to call it like I see it. Next up, we're going to get to Matt Sawyer. This one I've kind of thought about a couple times. Toronto Rock this season 4-9. I know 1-5 at home. Does that really count because they're in Mississauga, which is like their third barn in 3 years? But it's not even just that. Toronto Rock are so stinking talented. They never get past the Bandits. They blow leads, etc. I know they had injuries to start the season, but after the injuries they were fine. What happened to this team? They couldn't get over the hump. And I'm not a fan of whenever Mark Jackson got fired by the Golden State Warriors. And I'm not saying there is a Steve Kerr replacement out there for him. But sometimes, if you can't get over the hump, you need a new voice in the locker room. Jimmy Dowlick has already shown he's okay with trading Nick Rose twice, by the way, with trading Mitch DeSnew, shopping Tom Schreiber, and shopping Brad Cree. You don't think Matt Sawyer, you think his job is safe? Maybe he gets a front office role. Whatever it is, something has to change up top. You can't just trade away players. And another thing about this hot seat, if the Black Bears and the Rock and my next team finish strong, these coaches might be able to keep their job. And to be fair, all three of them might keep their job. But I go back to Paul Day of the Philadelphia Wings. Wings fans were tired of losing. You don't think the Rock and Black Bears / Riptide fans were tired of losing? Matt Sawyer, do the right thing. Go into the front office, step down, or get fired. Again, there's a chance he can come back, but what have you shown me? It's like Matt Sawyer's got to be on the hot seat at least a little bit. Yeah, no, great point by Andrew Sywink. It goes beyond this year. Sawyer had a hard time the last few years getting the guys over the hump. I agree. I'm just going to go through the roster just because it's fun. Tom Schreiber, Corey Small, Chris Boucher, Challen Rogers, Mitch DeSnew, Mark Matthews, I know he's injured, Nick Rose, the emergence of Josh Dowick, Latrell Harris. This team there's more to name. They're so good. And yet, they blow leads and they scare. I picked them to win it all, and that meant absolutely nothing. Matt Sawyer, somebody's going to be held accountable. You can't just trade away a bunch of players. Oh, I'm fine. I'm not saying Matt Sawyer thinks that, but has to be said. Finally, sorry, man. I know the feel-good story is there. I get it. Sean Williams, I'm actually, this is what of the three teams I just mentioned with Dan Lattisaur of the Black Bears, Matt Sawyer of the Rock, and Sean Williams of the Desert Dogs. Sean Williams is the first guy I would put in the front office or some sort of awesome role. Because what he has done with helping the city and the area grow with lacrosse cannot be, like that has to be looked at. At the same time, is he the answer as the head coach? Again, folks, I will pull up the records from every season, the first 2.5 years of the existence. 5-13. 5-13. 3-11. Are we going to see any improvement anywhere? Sorry. Absolutely, Andrew Sawing. He does deserve a ton of recognition for what he's done in the Nevada/Las Vegas area / Henderson. But coaching, this is what this comes down to, man. Got to be better. And maybe it is. I'm not trying to throw the rest of the coaching staff under the bus, because obviously Sean Williams is the one who's going to take the fall here, or take the most of the blame because he's the one we recognize. Ken Millen, offensive coach. Phil Wethrup, defensive coach. They also should be held accountable. Again, I think the Dogs team has talent, especially, not just because, not saying they should win a bunch of games, but to be outscored by 49 goals and give up 15 in 8 of your 14 games, not acceptable. It's just not. When I come back, we already know the Desert Dogs sit, but where does everyone else sit? It's time for this week's Power Rankings. Don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap it up next. Halifax fans beware.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
You need tickets to that next event? We've got them. That's right, tickets.12ozsports.com. Get you to any sporting event, concert, theater event that you can think of. And the promo code 12OZ or ROME gets you an additional discount. Don't feed the massive ticket corporate machine. Go to tickets.12ozsports.com and enjoy the show. America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Reminder, when you're getting your tickets to the next NLL game or any sporting event for that matter, buy them for less at tickets.12onsports.com. That's tickets.ozsports.com. You will not regret seeing things live, knowing you got your tickets for a great price. Alrighty. It's time for the power rankings, and I'm going to be honest. I was kind of surprised with myself, actually. So, here they are. Obviously, the Buffalo Bandits remain number one. Looking back, it was foolish of me to ride the wave of Rush going number one, when deep down we all knew that wasn't true. Bandits walk into Calgary like I thought they would, and beat the snot out the Roughnecks, allowing only 6 goals. By the way, the Buffalo Bandits this season, in case you didn't need any more propaganda, are 6-0. No other on the road. No other team has less than 2 losses on the road. Every team in the league has got 2 or more losses on the road. Bandits don't even have 1. That's insane. Number 2, obviously, the Rush. Number 3, the San Diego Seals. They beat down the Dogs. Congratulations, but they stay put. Roughnecks remain number 4 because Nick Rose has played very well. You want to know a fun fact? I did not even realize that was happening. How about the fact that the Calgary Roughnecks, Nick Rose, has the second best save percentage in the NLL? That shocked me. Because he's got 4 or 5 wins this year as a goalie. I know a lot of that was at Toronto Rock. But Nick Rose, second best save percentage, very low key in this season. If the Roughnecks finish strong, is there a case for him to be goalie of the year? I'm just wondering. Number 5, the Colorado Mammoth. They etched out a victory against the Wings, but they could also fall very quickly because of the losses of Zed Williams to injury and Eli McLaughlin to firefighter duty. Again, thank you for your service, sir. Number 6, Rochester moves up. I'm not going to do the Cooper Perkins and put him up to number 2, even though I do. I'm not surprised if the Nighthawks are the second best team. I said it when it happened. They played the Buffalo Bandits very well in Rochester. I know they got blown out in the end, but they played him the first game very well. And Ryland Hartley, when he's on it, he's impressive. Halifax moves up 1. Halifax has won 6 of their last 7, and they did just stop the Saskatchewan Rush. However, I cannot get out of my mouth the absolutely awful loss to the Toronto Rock. And Troy Alachuk's first game, and all the Thunderbirds needed to do was keep their heads on straight. So many penalties. It cost them. Warren Hill got benched, I believe, in that game. So, yeah, can't do it, man. But it's still number 7. Number 8, I took a leap of faith here with Christian Del Bianco and the Warriors. They did destroy the Rush. That's a very good point. But I can't get that Rock game out of my mouth. We'll see how it goes, though. Halifax is dangerous. Warriors, I'm taking the leap of faith. I had them at number 11 last week. I don't know. I said it before, Aiden Walsh is a very good goalie. At least this season, Christian Del Bianco was 10 times better, and I did not think that was possible. Maybe it doesn't continue, but I have a strange feeling the Vancouver Warriors are going to look suddenly very awesome in the next few weeks. Vancouver Warriors, the rest of their schedule currently is Georgia, Buffalo, Albany, Toronto, Philadelphia. They have 5 games left. That's a lot of games left, especially when we're already 16 weeks in. Swarm fall number 9. I tried to trust them. I thought they had a quality loss against the Saskatchewan Rush. I put that in air quotes. And then they proceeded to get stomped in Albany. I couldn't do it. Well, they lost by 1 goal in Albany, but Albany, you couldn't lose that game, Georgia. Once again, it's like Halifax. When I try to trust you, you'll let me down. Black Bears fall number 10. They are falling fast. Poor Zach Higgins at this point. Philadelphia Wings dropping number 11. I love their offense. They can't do anything else, though. Firewolves do climb a spot finally. Rock down number 13. I'm interested to see if they lose a bunch more games because Troy Holowchuk was not as invincible the next game. And then, of course, the Deader Dogs. I thought about putting in number 25 next to their team name just because it'd be funny. Because I genuinely think that if there was like 11 more teams in the league, the Dogs would be the last place team. But I kept them at number 14. But that was a serious consideration for me on this graphic. There are your power rankings. I cannot wait to discuss these on social media. Reminder to head to our social media, Daily Dive LAX, to check out our awesome graphics, to discuss lacrosse, to call me out, etc. And also, you can go to the link tree in our bio to see our shop, which offers amazing merchandise with the Daily Dive and the Diving Man logo. You can also visit that directly, dailydivelacks.creator-spring.com. Big news. I'm going to have, should I say it? I'll say it. Morning shoot-around co-host Christian Del Bianco is coming on the show tomorrow. I will let you know if anything changes, but that is the plan right now. After a phenomenal performance for Vancouver, I'm now a believer in the Warriors, and what better person to talk to than Christian Del Bianco. Cannot wait. That's been an interview that's a long time coming. So if you're watching it live, you're the first to hear it. And of course, I'll promote it on social media later on in the day. But you live viewers, try not to tell anyone. I'm kidding. Gosh. Thanks so much for watching the show, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, 12 on Sports. This has been Daily Dive. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for commenting. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thanks for watching Daily Dive. See you next time.